Welcome to this explainer. Okay, first off, huge congratulations to you. I mean it. If you've been following along with this material, you have actually mastered the fundamentals of fine-tuning transformer models. And honestly, that is no small feat. It takes some serious dedication to wrap your head around models, tokenizers, and all the modern best practices for making these massive systems work on your own data. So I'm absolutely thrilled to guide you through this capstone review today, where we're going to consolidate everything you've learned and, most importantly, strategize on exactly how to use it.
You've reached a really massive milestone here. You've officially gone from the abstract theory of transformer architectures to the gritty, hands-on reality of fine-tuning them. But hitting the peak of this particular hill, well, it just means you can now see the entire mountain range of real-world machine learning projects waiting for you. So, the big question is, what's next? How do we take all this textbook knowledge and actually deploy it efficiently out in the wild? That is exactly what we are going to organize and clarify today, making sure you walk away totally prepared to tackle whatever wild dataset comes your way.
Section 1. The Fine-Tuning Toolkit. What you've mastered.
Okay, let's dive into this. We need to take a quick inventory of the literally incredible set of tools you now have sitting in your arsenal. Because you aren't just tweaking a few parameters anymore, right? You have built a comprehensive, modern machine learning pipeline straight from the ground up. And if we look at this journey step by step, it's pretty remarkable. You started right at the foundation, learning how to load and pre-process datasets efficiently. Then you didn't just learn one way to train a model, you learned two completely distinct paths. First, implementing fine-tuning and evaluation using that super high-level trainer API. And then, you popped the hood and built a complete, custom PyTorch training loop entirely from scratch. Finally, you learned how to scale that custom loop using Hugging Face Accelerate, making your code run seamlessly across multiple GPUs or even TPUs. You've essentially covered the whole shebang, from raw data all the way to hardware-accelerated optimization.
And tucked right inside that workflow, you've picked up some incredibly sophisticated modern optimization techniques. I mean, you're not just processing data, you are using dynamic padding and data collators to batch data of varying lengths really efficiently, without wasting a drop of compute. You aren't just training, you're applying mixed precision training to save memory and using gradient accumulation to basically simulate massive batch sizes, even if you're stuck on limited hardware. Actually, to put that into perspective, these are the exact techniques used by industry pros to train those giant models faster and with a way smaller footprint. And now, you've got those exact same techniques right at your fingertips.
Section 2. Trainer API versus Custom Loops, the Strategic Workflow.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights the strategy behind the code. Because having multiple tools is fantastic, for sure. But knowing exactly when to use which tool, that's what separates a beginner from a seasoned ML practitioner. So let's focus on those two main methods you've learned for fine-tuning. Right here, we see a direct contrast between our approaches. On one side, we have the Trainer API. This is your high-level, streamlined approach. It abstracts away a ton of the boilerplate code, comes packed with all the latest features, and handles evaluation super gracefully. It's built for absolute speed and efficiency. But then on the other side, we have the custom PyTorch loop. Think of this as the manual transmission of fine-tuning. You build it completely from scratch, which means you get total, granular control over every single step. The forward pass, the backward pass, the optimization step. Yeah, it requires more code, but it gives you ultimate flexibility.
So the crucial point is this golden rule, straight from our source material. Always start with a strong baseline using the Trainer API before implementing custom training loops. This right here is an absolutely fundamental best practice. See, the Trainer API lets you quickly validate your data, double-check that your model can actually learn the task, and establish a solid performance benchmark. It's only after you have that strong baseline, and maybe you realize, hey, I need a highly specific custom behavior, like a unique loss function the API doesn't support. Only then should you invest the time into writing a PyTorch loop from scratch.
But let's say you do make that strategic decision to drop down into a custom loop. Well, you aren't left stranded when it comes to hardware. That's exactly where Hugging Face Accelerate comes into play. As this definition highlights, Accelerate is essentially the tool that takes your handwritten, custom PyTorch training code and makes it work seamlessly on multiple GPUs or TPUs. It completely abstracts away the massive headache of distributed training, so you get to keep the absolute control of a custom loop without sacrificing any of the power of advanced hardware scaling. It's really a win-win.
Section 3. Foundational NLP skills, applying your knowledge.
Okay. Now that we have the strategic workflow completely locked down between our training loops, let's talk about where we actually apply all of this knowledge. The absolute beauty of the skills you've developed here
The data preprocessing, the training configuration, evaluation optimization, is that they are strictly fundamental to virtually any machine learning project you're going to encounter. Whether you're categorizing documents with text classification, or maybe pulling very specific information out of a text with named entity recognition, or even building a full-blown question answering system, the underlying mechanics, they remain exactly the same. The same Hugging Face Transformers task guides and comprehensive notebooks will always apply. These foundational techniques are going to serve you incredibly well no matter which specialized NLP path you choose to wander down.
Section 4, Pro Tips for Success, Best Practices. And this brilliantly illustrates a few key strategic takeaways that will ensure your real-world projects actually succeed. As you transition from just learning these concepts to applying them out in the wild, keeping these best practices in mind will literally save you countless hours of debugging and sheer frustration. So consider these your rapid-fire mentor tips. First up, don't start from zero. Use the Hugging Face Hub to find pre-trained models that are already close to your specific task. It just gives you a much better starting point. Second, never train blind. Always monitor your training with proper evaluation metrics, so you actually know if your model's learning or just memorizing the data. Third, and wow, this is a big one, save checkpoints regularly. Seriously, do not lose hours of expensive GPU compute time to a sudden crash. It will literally make a grown adult cry. And finally, leverage the community. Share your models, share your datasets, help out where you can, and get feedback on your own work. The whole ecosystem just thrives on this kind of collaboration.
Section 5. Your next steps. Beyond the basics. Let's move to our next steps and see how this builds into your immediate roadmap for the future. Because honestly, this is just the very beginning of your journey with Hugging Face Transformers. So here is your exact, actionable roadmap. Step 1. Get your hands dirty. Actually try fine-tuning a model on your very own dataset, using all the techniques you just learned, starting with that trainer API baseline we talked about. Step 2. Experiment. Don't just stick to a single model. Try out a few different architectures available on the hub to see how they perform on your specific data. It's like a giant puzzle. And step 3. Contribute back. Get ready to share your own trained models and tokenizers with the community, adding your hard work to the ever-growing ecosystem of open-source AI.
Because think about it, you now possess a highly sophisticated, incredibly powerful toolkit. You know exactly how to process data efficiently. You know exactly when to rely on the high-level fast-paced trainer API and exactly when to unleash the total control of a custom PyTorch loop. You've got the skills to tackle text classification, named entity recognition, question answering, and just so much more. The training wheels, they are officially off. So, as you look at all the messy, unstructured data out there in the world, just waiting to be understood, what impossible problem are you going to fine-tune next?